Hey, this is Grant of Grant's Media Menagerie coming back to you today to talk to you again about one of my favorite anime, Fullmetal Alchemist, episode 19. Okay, so first of all, this is a great episode. It's one of those one of those good thematic episodes, meaning that it's going to be the setup for a lot of things down the road. But honestly, that's not why it's great. It's great for a couple of reasons. One of them being just all the action that takes place here. You see, after figuring out that the Philosopher's Stone, that it's only able to be created by killing lots of people, they at first are planning to give up. And then they are encouraged by these two friends that they have in the military, and they don't give up. They go on to look for a laboratory that would be capable of creating a Philosopher's Stone, and they find one called the Fifth Laboratory. Yeah, kind of an original name there. But everything that happens there is original, and it pays little homages to these great films. Like, it makes, I'd say within the space of, I don't know, a minute, it makes 3 Indiana Jones references. I'm a big fan of Indiana Jones. It makes reference to that huge rolling boulder scene in Raiders. It makes reference. It's pretty much. It looks like it's the industrial version of that temple in Raiders. It's pretty much it. That and one little reference to Temple of Doom with the falling spikes. And on top of that, you get a great introduction and reintroduction to these two characters. I believe it's Barry the Chopper, and I'm drawing a complete blank on the other one, but he's also interesting. And it gets revealed that these two were prisoners whose souls were attached to suits of armor, like owls. But it's interesting seeing two evil people get this. And man, it's just a great episode. There's not much more you can say about it. I mean, some of the stuff. This is a great episode on its own, but it ends on a cliffhanger. So it's not great just in its own right. It's great because it sets up greatness. That's how awesome this episode is. One of the other great things about this episode is this is like a reintroduction, and I know they reference it a lot in the show, maybe even to an absurd degree, but this is a great little reference to how they're still kids going through this. With these little references, like Ed has to sneak through a ventilation duct, and Al is not able to because, well, he's 10 feet tall and he's like, well, this huge around. And you just see him saying, "It's not my fault that I'm this big. I didn't ask for it." And that's just adorable. And you see Ed twice comment on how lucky he is that he's so puny for his age, which, after watching the show at least twice, and in this case, this episode 3 times, he's not that short. I mean, he's maybe a half a foot shorter than everybody around his age, but not that short. I really don't get where he's getting that from. Oh, wow. It's it's just a really great episode. Also, as like a final thing, something that this called it to my attention is the difference of Scar in this as compared with the other show and the manga, and that is a difference that I actually really like, and that Scar in this, he's a lot colder. I mean, the character has generally been portrayed up to this point as a martyr, kind of like not a martyr, a survivor. The best way to describe it is honestly compare it to another great tragedy, or another tragedy, and that is the Holocaust. And the way Scar is genuinely played is like Anne Frank's father in The Diary of Anne Frank, which, if you haven't seen, it's a great movie. I really recommend it. But he kind of feels like that type of a person, in that he is coming back from this abomination of humanity, and he is kind of a survivor, he is a survivor, but in this particular episode, he's really different. He's really cold. He's really calculating. And that's the thing I like about this episode that, honestly, you see nowhere else. I mean, except in this show, you don't see it anywhere else. And it's really fascinating. And honestly, a little bit scarier as an idea than just having him be the blood-hungry survivor of an atrocity. He feels a little bit more like the Hulk when you describe him that way, and here, this feels like a guy who's not only that strong, but a actually intelligent and cold, calculating villain. And that, I think, is legitimately scary. I mean, it's like comparing... It's like Friday the 13th if Jason were smart. You gotta admit, that is a lot more terrifying than if he's just average or below average intelligence. It's a lot scarier when the unstoppable force of nature is actually pretty smart. And they show that in this episode, and I really enjoy it. With that said, that's all I can say. So, until next time, I hope you really enjoy this show. Take care.